I don't know if you've seen Heidi Baker's vision.
No.
She saw America. And she saw lines for food. And they drove up in new cars, or, new cars. They were dressed well. And she assumed that it was suddenly.
Yeah, because their clothes were still intact, and they were wearing nice clothes.
And she said God has warned her that this is going to happen suddenly in America.
Right.
And the rich will be standing in food lines. And that backs up exactly what I've been trying to tell you. Be ready. Be ready. Are you ready to serve God if they're going to cut your head off? So years ago, God spoke to me. I was supposed to start preaching it, and nobody would accept it. How are you going to tell people the church needs to be ready?
Yes.
To have their heads cut off, to say, I'm willing to die for the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
And there is such fear in the church. I mean fear. Not just fear of ISIS, not just fear of one thing, but fear of not being politically correct until you will be murdered if you preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. Is that right?
It is. They're timid. They're intimidated.
It's over, people. The gospel is over in the United States of America if we're not careful. We have turned our back on the Bible. We can't preach the Bible anymore. I could tell you stories that would curl your hair if your hair's straight. And if you got curly hair, it would straighten it out. I'm serious. If I told you what I lived through and what I go through and what I am facing because of those who really, what we would call the old-fashioned gospel, which is just simply the Bible. Anybody that wants to stand on the absolute Word of God, you don't have much. I mean, whoever thought, I heard Donald Trump, and this is what everybody's talking about anyway. But it was so crazy because whoever thought you'd have a president or man running for president that would say, next Christmas, we're going to say Merry Christmas in the United States again.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Now, I'm not endorsing it. I'm just saying, how could that be a point to run for president on?
Yeah.
How could it be that it's been almost illegal to say Merry Christmas? The big department store says you cannot say Merry Christmas. They said it. Mm-hmm. I know people that work at those stores. Isn't that right? You know people that work at those stores. Mm-hmm. They were told, do not say Merry Christmas anymore. You can say Happy Holidays, but you cannot say Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I have a great idea. When you go at
it
Christmas,
is Christ's birthday,
yes,
right?
Yes.
It's Christmas.
At the Christmas season, when you're in a store that won't say Merry Christmas, they always ask you, when you place your order, what's your name? Tell them your name's Merry Christmas. Then they have to call your name out. Order 33 for Merry Christmas. But Jim, this is going back to the spiritual uprising.
Yeah.
Who is telling us that we can't say Merry Christmas?
They.
They. Why are we obeying them, Jim? Why? Why are we obeying them? Every time there's let's say a high school, you're talking about a high school graduation and you can't pray. Who says you can't pray? A stupid judge 500 miles away in a courthouse says you can't pray?
And an atheist who has taken it before the judge.
Yes. So what happens if in that graduation, most of the parents stand up and recite the Lord's Prayer? What are they going to do? The judge going to come over and arrest you?
That's a good idea.
Let's get an uprising going. Jim, if
they were threatening to arrest you, threatening to mow you down with a machine gun.
Well, what if they did? They're going to come in and shoot 500 parents at a high school graduation for saying the Lord's Prayer?
Not right now, but eventually they will.
If we don't stop it. And the way to stop it is to stop obeying them.